It's that part of the schedule when the dust of the day's events begin to clarify, and we try to make sense of it for you. Brazier is drive time for radio and TV. It's fast, it's punchy, it's opinionated, there's a Brazier angle and a little bit of levity.
That's the question.
That's two questions, actually.
That's Brazier, Monday to Thursday, 4 till 6 on GB News.
Hello, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and you can join me every weekday 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr. Me and my panel will get stuck right into the day's events, and I can tell you, in fact, I can warn you, expect some robust debates, some strong opinions and perspectives from both sides of the fence. It's about you at home as well. I love to read out all of your comments, or at least as many as I can. So join me, Michelle Dewberry, Monday to Friday, 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr.
I'm Dan Wootton. Join me Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 for the feistiest and most fun news debate on TV, where free speech reigns. I'll bring you a sharp take on the day's biggest stories, bombshell newsmaker interviews, and A-list guests. And I guarantee you, no spin, no bias, no censorship, and no reason to go to bed. That's Dan Wootton tonight, Monday to Thursdays from 9 on GB News.
Hello and welcome to Headliners. I'm Stephen Allen. Tonight my comedy panel includes Josh Howie and Sajila Kershi. They'll be set loose shortly to review the newspapers, but first, let's get the news.
Good evening, I'm Tamsin Roberts in the GB newsroom. The Prime Minister says he wants to reform rather than scrap the Northern Ireland Protocol. He's been in Belfast holding emergency talks with the country's leaders. The DUP is refusing to form a devolved government until the UK takes action over the Irish Sea border. Sinn Féin's President, Mary Lou MacDonald, has accused the government of placating the DUP, but Boris Johnson says he's urged them to cooperate.
You need leadership and you need government. So you bet. I said to the DUP in particular, we want to see you back in the executive. We want to see you nominating. We want to see a speaker in the assembly. Of course. Now the issue they have is that they object to the operation of the protocol. We don't want to scrap it, but we think it can be fixed. And actually, 5 of the 5 parties I talked to today also think it needs reform.
Ukrainian servicemen evacuated from the besieged Mariopool Steelworks have arrived in the Russian-controlled border town of Novoazovsk. Some were seen being carried off buses on stretchers. Some 600 servicemen were said to have been sheltering inside the plant, and it's not yet known how many have now left. Earlier, the regiment said it would follow orders to save the lives of troops, an indication that the long siege could be coming to an end. Turkey's president says he will not approve bids by Sweden or Finland to join NATO. It follows announcements by both countries that they will apply. Their governments have re-evaluated their security status as a result of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Earlier, Vladimir Putin warned that expanding military infrastructure in the Nordic countries would provoke a response. Sweden's Prime Minister Magdalena Andersson says the best option for her country's security is to join the military alliance.
If Sweden joins NATO, the threshold for military conflicts would increase and have a deterrent effect in Northern Europe. This would especially be the case if Sweden and Finland joined NATO together. As a NATO member, Sweden would not only strengthen its own security, but also contribute to enhanced security in the Baltic Sea region and for NATO as a whole.
The Home Secretary is expected to give special constables the powers to use tasers. Speaking tomorrow at the Police Federation conference in Manchester, Priti Patel will reveal she's given approval for volunteer police officers to carry the weapons if chief officers authorise it. The constables will receive the same training and access to equipment as their paid colleagues. A 22-year-old man has been found guilty of the murder of police community support officer Julia James. Callum Wheeler beat to death the mother of two as she walked her dog in the fields near the back of her home in Snowdown in Kent. A jury at Canterbury Crown Court took less than 70 minutes to find him guilty of Mrs James's murder. England captain Harry Kane has praised Blackpool footballer Jake Daniels, who has come out publicly as gay. Posting online, the Tottenham striker said football should be welcoming for everyone. It comes after the Prime Minister Boris Johnson commended Jake's bravery and courage. The 17-year-old forward says he made the decision after feeling that he'd proved himself as a professional player. He's the first active male professional footballer to come out in the UK since Justin Fashanu in 1990. TV, online and DAB Plus radio, this is GB News. Now, it's back to headliners.
Hello and welcome to Headliners. I'm Stephen Allen. I'm joined by proof that the cost of living crisis has even hit TV booking budgets. It's Sajeela Kershi and Josh Howie. And outraged already by that one. Do you know, I mean, you're here to review the first half of the newspapers because we never really go beyond the middle, the fold, do we? Are we going to review the horoscopes? I think maybe that should be a new feature we add in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're as reliable as politics right now.
That's the front page.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you often read your horoscopes? Do you believe any of that stuff?
Yeah, when it's good.
Good man.
I used to. I don't anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
Typical, what star sign are you?
Taurus.
Typical Taurus. Yeah. That's how that joke works.
Yeah, I
if
know.
you
Yeah,
research
yeah, I
it
get it.
first.
I get it.
Yeah. Whoops. Well, let's move on to take a look at the front pages. We can start off today with the Daily Mail. They go with a headline, Bank Chief Families are facing food price apocalypse. Governor admits he's helpless over inflation. That headline appears pretty much on all the papers. We moved to the Telegraph. The Bank Chief, food price rise will be apocalyptic. They also have the stories of lockdown damage toddlers' speech skills, and DUP urges Johnson to put plans on scrapping protocol into law. More on that as we go through the show. The Independent, I'm ready to be myself. Be free, the story and the picture of Jake Daniels. Their main story, though, Bank Chief warns of apocalyptic food prices, just to bring the vibe back down. To the front page of The Guardian, bank chiefs warn over apocalyptic food prices. You see the pattern now. Also, Putin taking hands-on tactical role in Ukraine. What's on their front page? To the Financial Times, Bailey deflects blame for soaring inflation onto global shocks. And they also, down the bottom, have a story. Wall Street wonders if Musk is too big to regulate the man, not the smell. The Mirror goes with, as Bank of England boss warns of apocalyptic food prices, MPs vote today on whether to give struggling families £600. Tories want to block it. Why can't they, for once, just do the right thing? The opinion of the Mirror there. The Times, footballer age 17 makes history by coming out as gay. We'll talk about that story today. And petrol firm profiteers failed to pass on duty cut. The Sun has Colleen Vardy's evil text. Colleen Rooney yesterday branded fellow wag Rebecca Vardy a fibber. Big stuff. The front page of the Metro, proud to say I'm gay, is their main story. And then finally to the Star. Official new government advice on how we can all beat the cost of living crisis. Don't be so poor. And those are your front pages. Let's get started. Sajeela, Tuesday's Mirror tells us of food shortages. Do I have to stockpile again?
Oh, gosh, yes. But I'm not always stockpiling. I always keep extra, like, backup. So you've heard a lot the apocalyptic. I can never say that word. I wish I hadn't used that word.
It's on every front page.
I know, it's every front page, and I cannot say that word. That word, so that's happening. And it's kind of the main deal here in this story is the Bank of England governor gives apocalyptic warning about food prices due to Ukraine war. So it's between kind of the governor, as we like to call him, known as he's the governor of the Bank of England, and he basically saying the food prices like food like wheat and oil, cooking oil, which is like in Ukraine, because it's having problems coming over, the prices are shooting up. So wheat's gone up by 25%. I'd like to put a positive spin on it. Wheat's not really good for you because it's carbs and it's like, it kind of curbs off like diabetes. So that's probably a good thing. And then oil, well, oil is never good, is it, frying? so we could just dry fry food. So that could be a benefit. I'm just trying to find a positive, guys. Come
what
on.
food groups have you got left? You've ruled out fats and carbs.
No, we've got
Protein and
vegetables.
fibre.
We can let them eat veg. We can. But no, the point is, he's saying hindsight's a great thing, you know, because people are criticising quite rightly. The committee chairman, Bell Stride, has told him, you know, the ability of the banks to forecast inflation seems to have gone rather amiss for some period of time. So he's saying it's not just like a recent thing. And he's been asleep at the wheel. You know, the banks have been asleep at the wheel. Why couldn't you predict this sooner? Why you didn't get a handle on this sooner? And then he responds, the governor responds with, well, we can't predict things like war, which is kind of not true, because we had been talking about the possibility of war for quite some time, ever since I've been doing this show, right? You OK, Josh?
I am OK, yeah.
Are you worried about the flowers?
My eyes.
I'm just trying to work out how to say apocalyptic.
Apocalyptic.
You've set me off. Yeah, it's been... I do all the family shopping and stuff, and I've been trying to get some sunflower oil for a couple of weeks. I mean, I don't want to take it away from everybody else and just make it about me, but I'm just saying it's really hot out there. And doing the shopping today, like pasta's gone up. It was about £1 for a big load of it, and now it's like £1.40. Like everything is like significantly jumped up now. And you know, luckily I'm here at GBNews. Earning a bit of money, but things were, if I wasn't here, to be honest, things would be tough. And I bought some Monster Munch for the kids today. I wouldn't have done that. Seriously, 6 months ago, if we're in this situation, my family, you know, wouldn't have been able to get the kids some Monster Munch. Like, I know that it seems like a silly thing, but those are like little treats and things like that. Those are, people are making like much harder decisions than I am. And I feel very blessed to be honest.
Have you done the heating thing? Because I've obviously now think, officially we're in spring, so I can't justify putting the heat on. I get really cold, and I've just gone back to when my childhood is just put an extra jumper on, so wear some extra layers. But this is a reality. I mean, we're talking from our point of view here. This, as you say.
And the scary thing, and I guess this is why they're using the word apocalyptic, is because it could and it looks like it will be getting worse. This isn't just an overnight thing. This is something that, obviously, interest rates have been incredibly low for a long time now, for nearly a decade, and they've deliberately kept it like that so they can keep on printing and just pumping out more money to keep the system going. Now we're paying for that because prices haven't been going up properly to the level, and that inflation has been deliberately sort of kept artificially low because of them just printing more money as they needed it. And unfortunately, things are going to are already tough, and he's saying they're going to be tougher. And with the war or not, definitely prices would have been going up anyway because it was unsustainable.
Well, the next story might offer something of a solution. Tuesday's Independent, Josh. First, we had George Eustace telling us to buy cheaper things. Has he been outdone in terms of wisdom?
Oh, yeah. Rachel McLean, Home Office Minister, has said that people should get a better job. And I am very happy to report that I am moving on to HBO. So thank you for that advice.
Good job, she said it.
No, that's what she's saying. It's like take on more hours, use your local job centre. But this is the most telling part of it. And we're talking about someone here who claimed £213,000 in expenses last year. But this is what she says. This is the real part of the quote that really just shows how misaligned she is with reality and expectations of people. She says, it might be right for some people, they may be able to access additional hours, but of course it is not going to work for people who are already in 3 jobs. So what they're really saying is, the expectation is we should have a minimum of 2 jobs. Like, if you've got 3 jobs, OK, this doesn't apply to you, but people shouldn't have 2 jobs. Like, people should have their job, be paid well enough, and work to be able to finance their life and the lives of their families. It shouldn't. There just is an expectation here that, we should already be having 2 jobs, but then the 3 jobs people. I mean, how out of touch is this human being with what's going on?
I'm 100% with you on that. And the fact that she's claiming and have expenses to actually feed a small village is just beggars belief. And that's just an expenses, never mind getting extra jobs. And, we as creatives, we juggle a lot of things. I know, because you have got the Netflix thing. You are doing well. But yeah,
I am also on
yeah,
Netflix,
you're doing.
thank
My
you.
son's a fan, and you know we do juggle a lot of things. But how many more? It's like how many more hours can you fit in the day, like to get that level income, so that you can live in a, you know.
I think that point's really valid, and it's less valid for us because we actually could work harder and do more. I mean,
I became a comedian quite specifically to not work or to work 20 minutes a day. Oh my God, I'm
It's
exhausted.
not 20 minutes though. It's like the 4 hours travelling, the 4 hours back.
But we could add more into our days if we really had to. Whereas someone who's working all of the awake hours in a factory, what else are you going to do?
Yeah,
Just invent time travel. I don't see how else you could fold it in. Of course, what you do then is you buy things that aren't as expensive. That's the other piece of advice that we had previously.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess what she was trying to say, and she said very badly, is that yes, that overall there's probably a long-term strategy to make jobs better jobs that pay better, more. But the word that she didn't use is opportunity. And that's the thing, is like you say, someone working in a factory, working 12-hour shifts, there isn't necessarily that opportunity there. Maybe long-term education can be improved. Not that I'm seeing any of this stuff actually happening, but the idea is to create this opportunity, but that isn't the word that she used, and that was unfortunate.
But she dismissed all of it, but I've given like 500 million to the hardship fund, which local councils can use as and where, it's needed. Like, that's enough. We've done our bit now. It's just like throwing like money at a beggar, really.
I listened to Radio 4, as I do sometimes on the school run. Sorry. And what the person was saying is, and this is something that ties into the Queen's speech last week that Boris Johnson gave, is that there wasn't anything specifically targeted from central government to help the people most in need. And I'm not talking about getting Monster Munch and whatever. I am talking about heating, about the very basic essentials for families, and they haven't put that in. And this kind of thing is an insult to say it to those families who are genuinely struggling.
Let's move on now to Tuesday's Guardian. Sajila, it seems that Northern Ireland Protocol might not have been quite so oven-ready, or maybe I just don't understand how ovens work.
So Boris is changing his own deal, basically. So his plan to scrap parts of Northern Ireland Protocol is only an insurance policy, says Boris Johnson. So he's been criticised on this legal move, which has been delayed for a few weeks. Boris Johnson said the legal move to ditch parts of Northern Ireland Protocol is only an insurance policy, as it emerged that the controversial legislation has been delayed for some weeks. Now, basically, one of the phrases that they used, I think it was leaked to the Times, was that they want to bring a gun to the table, but then it's not a loaded gun, and they're not going to use it.
It's a paperweight.
Yeah,
it's really cool looking. Everyone loves a cool looking gun.
That's like an analogy of everyone who's got nuclear weapons, they're not going to use them, but we're just having it as protection, as a sort of a guarantee.
Please don't say the word apocalyptic again.
I'm not going to say apocalyptic. Yes. Apocalypse Now was a good film, by the way.
Great,
and so it's always like a spaghetti western. Everyone's like got their hands on their, and then someone's going to draw at some point.
How is this dragging? How are we talking about Brexit?
I know.
Still, I
thought it was
that was it. Like, okay, people voted, the majority voted. I understand that. I don't agree with that, but that was democracy happened. Fine, we're out. Deals were signed, and now it's like, oh no, that deal isn't good, mate. You created the deal. You created the situation, Boris. You got the deal. You signed the deal. And now you're like, oh, well, we need to make changes. We need to get out of the deal. That's your deal. That's the deal you were going for. How are you turning around and then going, oh, well, actually, this is a bad deal. It needs improvements. Here's an idea. Put those in when you're doing the deal. And this all goes back to what was said at the very beginning of... I know I'm going to get some hate tweets on Twitter about this, but at the very beginning of all of this stuff, all the debates, all what experts know, they said straight at the beginning, it's unfeasible to do Brexit and to sort this out, but with compliance with what's going to happen in Northern Ireland. And you cannot do both at the same time. They said it before people voted for Brexit. They said it all the way through all of the deals. And that's the reality of it. You cannot have both. And that's what they're trying to still somehow miraculously push through by threats and you just can't feasibly have both. It's impossible.
Are you supporting him in this or not? I'm getting...
No, I'm absolutely... No, of course I'm not supporting it. It's like... Oh, sorry. OK, I'm sorry. I got too much blood went to there to actually think properly about sarcasm.
Are you hungry?
No, it's just... You know what? It's like I'm over it, but then why bring this back? Like, you signed the deal, mate. This is your deal, and now you're still trying to push this stuff forward.
But and hopefully this is bringing the balance and the counterpoint. Maybe it's not, but the one reason to do it is that if you've got something you need to sell by saying, I'm going to get it done, you get it done and fix it later. This is what they always say when you go for a job, right? If someone says, do you have the skill? Can you use spreadsheets? You say yes, and you learn between the interview. Yeah. So maybe it's a bit of that he was
Well, there's a difference between saying that and saying, you know what, we're actually going to break international law and we're going to make legislation so we can just rip it all up and whatever. Yeah, if you want to debate these finer points, that's what they're going through the process at the moment. You don't then make it a possibility and make it into law that we can just chuck it all out the window because we're not getting our own way.
Yeah, we'll see how they do on that one. Let's move now on to Tuesday's Telegraph. Sweden, Finland could be joining NATO. Josh, this is making Putin happy like you were a second ago?
Yes, but hopefully I'm not as puffy as he is at the moment. So, yeah, this is it's a big deal. Sweden, I believe, has been a neutral country, or hasn't been aligned militarily for 200 years. So this is a big deal. Finland for 75 years. They also traditionally have been, I wouldn't say necessarily anti-NATO, but they haven't been, but I think like 85% of the 200 MPs voted for it, have said, so both countries are in the process of applying. There's a slight little hiccup because Turkey is a little bit angry at Sweden because Sweden's been sort of giving a little bit of support to the Kurdish. So there's that you need all 30 members to be able to agree to let in the new people. It's like when, my wife and I joined the swinging club and, everybody had to give the okay.
But one of them is a better mental image than the other.
Is that why you're angry? Because you got refused?
Well, yeah, they let my wife in, and they didn't let me in. So, yeah, and of course, Putin is furious and making threats, and what kind of trick that they will trigger a response. Well, it's like, mate, you don't then go invading sovereign nations and then expect that was the response. You've got the response. Well done.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, isn't it? Putin was saying NATO expansion was the issue, and he's managed to bring about NATO expansion.
Yeah. I know you said swinging club, but I wrote down here that it's like basically joining a golf club, that members-only golf club that you never
swinging in both.
Yeah, swinging in both actually. Yeah, there is a bit of swinging in both. You're quite right. Yeah, we're on the right sort of track, both you and I. But yeah, and he's just not. He's just never quite good enough to get in, is he? Or be part of that club.
Yeah, I mean, part of the...
Oh, well, you're saying Putin wants to join NATO?
I think he does.
You think he's secretly...
I think he secretly does.
This is a very interesting idea. I don't think he wants to join this organisation that's set up specifically to hate him.
Yeah, but
interesting.
I will go around it a really weird way by...
Yeah, OK. Maybe he's just... Yeah, maybe he's jealous.
Yeah, doing the Groucho Marx.
I want to join it.
Part of a club that would have me as a target. Wow. OK, interesting. Well, coming up after the break...
Do you mean interesting as in totally wrong?
Yeah.
OK, yeah, fine.
Well,
coming up after the break, more from Boris Johnson as he takes on Liverpool boss Jurgen Klopp, and Brits lead the world at something, but unfortunately it's refusing to go back to the office.
Every morning from 6 o'clock, we'll wake you up with GB News Breakfast with all the stories you didn't know from the night before.
So whether it's serious news, entertainment, or your own views from all over our great nation, we're here to kick off your day with a smile.
The national media should be reflecting and reporting what's happening here.
You will notice the northwestern accents.
Whether you're with us on TV, radio, or online, every morning, it's breakfast from 6 a.m. Hope you can join us.
On radio, they call it the drive time slot, 4 p.m. until 6 p.m. as listeners head home. It's that part of the schedule when the dust of the day's events begin to clarify, and we try to make sense of it for you. Brazier is drive time for radio and TV. It's fast, it's punchy, it's opinionated, there's a Brazier angle and a little bit of levity.
That's the question. That's two questions, actually.
That's Brazier, Monday to Thursday, 4 till 6 on GB News.
Hello, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and you can join me every weekday 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr. Me and my panel will get stuck right into the day's events, and I can tell you, in fact, I can warn you, expect some robust debate, some strong opinions and perspectives from both sides of the fence. It's about you at home as well. I love to read out all of your comments, or at least as many as I can. So join me, Michelle Dewberry, Monday to Friday, 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr.
I'm Dan Wootton. Join me Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 for the feistiest and most fun news debate on TV, where free speech reigns. I'll bring you a sharp take on the day's biggest stories, bombshell newsmaker interviews, and A-list guests. And I guarantee you, no spin, no bias, no censorship, and no reason to go to bed. That's Dan Wootton tonight, Monday to Thursdays from 9 on GB News.
Welcome back to Headliners. I'm Stephen Allen, still joined by the Ross and Rachel of this room. Spoiler alert, they won't. It's Sajila Kershi and Josh Howie. And let's move on now, Sajila, to the Times, that tells us that a fast food restaurant is pulling out of Russia. They're not loving it.
Ah, right. So, I mean, I remember... So McDonald's had basically quit Russia after 30 years, and I actually remember the images of people queuing around Pushkin Square, and that was back in January the 31st, 1990, and it's the biggest at the time.
Oh, my God. How do we... I'm so old. I remember that so well.
I remember it really well. This is kind of scary that I remember it's before myself. Oh, my God. OK, so basically they're closing down a chain of stores there because they're saying it's because of the war and, the humanitarian crisis caused by the war in Ukraine. It's not in keeping with, McDonald's values. Let's look at McDonald's values. What are they? Oh, that's right, climate change. They've got an empire of 39,000 restaurants in 119 countries. 2% of the world's total beef is consumed by McDonald's. The carbon footprint, 53 million metric tons of carbon. So, they're obviously very, they're very principled people.
Famously litigious as well, so good luck with that.
Yeah. But I also think that it's not to do so much with the war and stuff. I think it's actually because McDonald's came when the country was just coming out the kind of Cold War. I think that its sales are going to go down. We're talking about the cost of living here. It's going to affect Russia, and I suspect it's a business move more than anything because they're everywhere. Every country you go to, I always head for the McDonald's, no matter how bad. Things have changed anyway. Everything's become Americanized now anyway. When you used to go to countries that didn't have. I knew I could get a sit-down toilet in a McDonald's, so
okay.
I would.
Is that on their specials board?
Yes. So, I love McDonald's. You have to try it. I don't like them here. Does anybody know when the first McDonald's in the UK opened?
1974.
You guys read the article.
Well. I'm obsessed with McDonald's. I absolutely love McDonald's, but I think that. But I have to disagree with you. I don't think. I mean, they're losing like $1.2 billion or something, and they're closing 850 stores. It's a big deal. It's a financial hit. Of course, they're making many billions across the world anyway, but I do think it's a big deal. But the interesting thing, one of the most interesting things I thought in this article was that the growth of digital ordering, they're saying, accounts for more than 50% of their orders now.
Really?
Now, that is huge, and that will change things. And other places now as well, they don't even have stores. They just have, they have containers where they make all the stuff, and it just goes out, Uber and all the other different food services. And they're saving a huge amount of money by doing it like that. Having no front of house, no restaurants, no anything, cook the food in these containers, and then they just send them out.
In terms of feeling old, the last time I tried to use a McDonald's, years ago, but I hadn't been to one for years before that, I walked in there and it was just touchscreen posters everywhere. And I was like, no, I'm out. That's not how shops work. No. I've reached that age where I nearly called something newfangled. That's how old they made me feel. They
are quite newfangled. But I always feel dirty after a McDonald's. So, immediately you're hungry, you think...
Plus side.
Oh, no, it's just oozing out my pores. I can't bear it. Yeah.
Well, something to think of on the way home, isn't it? Sajila, Tuesday's Mail, a story of football being dragged into at least the 1980s. They're catching up, aren't they?
Well, this is... I didn't think this was a thing. Call me, new-fashioned, because I thought this was all normal now. So I'm ready to be myself, be free and be confident. So Blackpool FC forward Jake Daniels, only 17 years old, becomes the UK's first male professional footballer to come out as gay since Justin Fashanu in 1990. And he was 29 at the time when he came out. So I didn't, that time I can understand, but now I don't know why this would be a thing, but he's been lauded as being very brave and, he wants to break the stigma of being gay in their sports because it's seen as being quite homophobic and they want to clamp down in the same way with racism, which is zero tolerance and quite right too. Let's face it, this is all a bit sort of dated. And for him, bless him, how mature and inspiring at 17 years old. So he told Sky Sports, it's been quite a crazy year. I'm 17, I've signed a professional contract, I've scored 30 goals in this season, and I've just made my first team debut in the championships coming off the bench against Peterborough. So I think he thought it was a good time to, come out. And he's clearly got a supportive family, and, the fans have gone the back of him. He's had loads of people, praising him, other players who came out after their careers were over. Aston Villa player Thomas Hiltzeperger, who's 40 now, but didn't come out until after. And then, Thomas Beattie. So it's a really lovely story, but it's just a shame that we kind of 2022 now we're in, that it's kind of taken this long to...
Well, Josh, I mean, as much as we're now about to feel bad for being Generation Xers, but is this because he's 17? Because this Generation Z, they are just better at some of these things?
I guess so. I mean, it as like Sajid said, I was sort of surprised it's such a big story because certainly amongst friends, even when I grew up and my best friend came out as gay, it just wasn't, we were very nonplussed about it and it wasn't a big deal. And so it's... But I'm not into football. I'm not part of a sort of, I guess, a more laddie culture, obviously. So I can't really speak to how that world is. But the fact that he's the first person to come out in however many years shows obviously there is still homophobia there. But saying all that on a positive, there's been this sort of seemingly a universally positive, I'm sure there's trolls on Twitter and stuff, but it seems like all the teams, everybody's very supportive. And this seems like a good thing. Hopefully we can move it forward. I was reading about Amal Fashanu, who I think was John Fashanu's niece, maybe. There's a foundation to fight homophobia that provides counselling to gay football players, and two of them are in the Premier League, and hopefully these guys will see the positive reaction and feel like they can also come out and be, if they want to. So it's a good story, but it's also a bit weird that it needs to be a story.
It's just to say, he's not the only gay in football. There are loads of others. I think he's just the one that's come out. And
You're also right to say that you will be able to find trolls for anything online, and that's proven by someone told me that they were looking on YouTube. There was a video of Whale Song, and someone had thumbs downed it. Who goes around going, that whale's not very good at singing? What's wrong with people?
Sickos.
Seeing as you've admitted you don't really know much about football, we'll stay with you, Josh, and talk about football. Tuesday's Telegraph says that fans booed the national anthem. Have they heard their own singing?
So this was at some big cuppy thing at Wembley that happened. I was very aware of. And Liverpool fans booed Prince William, and the national anthem. And I was a little bit shocked when I sort of read about it. I didn't see it, but I read about it. Klopp basically defended Liverpool fans, as probably doesn't want to deal with any abuse from them, and basically said, they're wonderful, wonderful people, and I'm sure they've got their reasons, as opposed to condemning it. And pretty much all politicians across the political divide have condemned it. But I didn't realise that it turns out that Liverpool... look, of course, Liverpool was treated terribly, certainly by Thatcher and Hillsborough. They, have absolute reasons to distrust the authority or whatever you want to call it. But I didn't know it went to that level where you had Liverpool fans who won't support England or have flags saying Scouse, not English, or whatever. So I didn't know that strength of feeling was there. I still don't think that's a justification to boo Prince William, who has nothing to do with any of that, and seems like a pretty decent human being.
I didn't know this. So what, do Liverpool want to... What, do they want partition? What's happening with Liverpool then? I didn't know. They do?
No, I'm not saying that.
I'm glad you heard it here first. I mean, I don't... But I also, on the flip side, they shouldn't have booed him, but it does make me wonder... if the monarchy, is like something that might be coming to an end. Oh, God, that would get really bad. Badly.
Should we move on and say to the Mirror now, Sajila, and there might be a hominid species that's only 3'6". I'm guessing they're aggressive and boastful to try and make up for it.
Oh, so there's a mysterious hobbit human species which may not be extinct, says expert in controversial claim. So there have been sightings of these small, hairy, humanoid creatures living in the forest. And do you know...
In Hull.
Huh? No, but this is like Bigfoot, but Bigfoot's Littlefoot. Do you know what I mean? It's like because they're only 3 foot something, whereas Bigfoot was obviously huge, but they do have big feet as well. And these sightings of these ape man in Indonesia could be proof that Homo floresiensis species, believed to be long extinct, is alive today. In other words, a hobbit, basically. And I think we've got a picture, have we not, of the...
There'll not be a picture of me because I'm going to get very upset.
How could there be a picture if they don't exist?
No, because they've told... There was a photo.
Oh, look, they're showing you now. No, it wasn't.
I thought they were going to put it up there. But anyway, they've got small brains, large-footed tool makers, and it's... Oh, my God, the things that anthropologists will do and say for publicity and funding. What did I say? I say that wrong as well.
No, you didn't. I was being an idiot. I was being mean. I'm sorry.
You speak 5 languages.
But it's not as if everyone's saying these things are actually real. This is quite the controversial claim.
No. So this guy, Gregory IV, tells the Live Science, he goes, "We simply don't know when this species became extinct, or indeed, dare say, we don't even know if it is extinct. So there is some possibility that it still lives." So basically, he's kind of like, but other people are saying, no, there's no way. It's been thousands of years. This is not real. But there's been sightings, like at least I think 200 people or something, 30 eyewitnesses accounts of similar creatures that match the description of the Hobbit.
They could have been just hairy children.
Yeah,
maybe
hairy children,
or children.
Lockdown short. Dirty lockdown men.
Dirty lockdown men.
Yeah, but haven't had them washed, haven't changed.
And actually, that's their scientific name. Dirty lockdown men.
It's the middle-aged rock band kind of form.
More victims of COVID.
More victims
of dirty lockdown men.
Actually, do you have a take on these mythical beasts?
No, I mean, it would be cool if they did exist, because obviously they're shooting Lord of the Rings, and that would just make things a lot easier on their budgets. They wouldn't have to do all the special effects and make a big cup for the person to come, to make it look like they're actually, and all that stuff. Yeah. They could just hire these Indonesian people.
Why don't we see if they're real and just throw some rings in the forest and see, as bait?
Well, fingers crossed. You never know.
I don't know if they will have read Lord of the Rings, necessarily.
Doubtful.
They might have seen the DVD, the Blu-ray.
Tuesday's Times next. Josh and a man who's making mountain climbing seem pointless. I'm probably not even going to bother now.
Oh, my gosh. Climber Kenton Cool.
He's such a cool name.
Well, I mean, what an appropriate name for somebody who's climbed Everest. A bunch like Kenton Rope, or whatever.
It's actually Kenton Edward
Crampon Cool.
Yeah. Yes. He has climbed Everest 16 times now, more than any non-Sherpa. And 25 years ago, he was told, actually, that he wouldn't be able to walk unassisted ever again. So this is an amazing accomplishment on top of an amazing accomplishment. He's 48 years old. And he's also climbed K2. And he's done this other challenge, which is all 3 mountains at the same time. And I mean, look, I'm impressed. He's a very masculine person. I liked particularly at the end when he says, "I love being in the mountains. I love being in the Himalayas. I love being with my Sherpa team." He's married with 2 kids, by the way.
Brilliant. Is this making you interested? I mean, I went up Kinder once and came back down miserable because it was raining. So this is not my cup of tea at all.
I used to do rock climbing when I was younger, believe it or not. But no, I think this is fantastic. 48 years old, done it 16 times before, was told he couldn't walk, now he can do it. It's wonderful. And he doesn't look bad for it, like the hairy hobbits.
He's not too weathered.
No, he looks great. He looks great.
No moisturisers as well. Well, almost the total antithesis of this one. So, Sheila, the Daily Mail covers the new culture war battleground, working from home.
Oh, so the remote genie is out of the bottle and no one can ever squeeze her back into it again because nobody wants to go back into the office, including myself, right? So British workers are leading the world in refusing to return to the office despite a push by ministers to kickstart the commuter economy in the wake of coronavirus pandemic. Now, the thing is, they're saying that they're blaming women for this. Women are said to be the ones that lead in the so-called flexidus, they're calling it. See what they did there? Because staff are demanding a mixture of remote and in-office working, with 52% admitting that they have left, well, they would leave a job or change, due to lack of flexibility. So I think flexibility is key in any job to keep a worker happy. But we've had this, I mean, I know even from us comedians' point of view, like I think, how the hell did I commute? I was talking about earlier on, 4 hours to get to a gig, to do 20 minutes and come back. Like that seems like that time is too valuable now. I can't do that anymore.
I hated the idea of Zoom gigs during lockdown, but now the trend is to punch comedians when you don't like them. I'm back on Zoom.
I loved Zoom gigs, I really did. So your time is more valuable, and your home life is more important. And I think there's a lovely quote here: work is no longer a place, but what is done. And that is so true, because it shouldn't be the place. I know this is going to affect the economy, but then I think we're going to have to find a different way of working or move forward in a different way and just change the whole culture.
Yeah.
Because every office, every organisation is demanding this kind of like either a hybrid, like a model where you can have a bit of both, but definitely working from home. And I think you are more productive as well.
Well, inventing the loom changed the economy, but you kind of had to roll with it because these changes. Now, 5 kids, do you prefer working at home?
I don't mind the occasional weekend away. But, yeah, I mean, people have got used to it. This was a trend that was happening before COVID, and with Zoom and stuff like that. These aren't new inventions. They were there and they were being implemented. People aren't even talking about working home full time. They're talking about having from these different studies, they're talking about hybrid stuff. So they're talking about having about 2 days at home. And yes, it's women, because women still are doing the predominant, not in my house, but doing a lot of the childcare, and to be flexible. But, there are arguments, the effect it has on inner cities in terms of people coming in, transportation, and restaurants and all the other stuff. And there is an idea that people aren't necessarily as productive, necessarily. It depends on the job, of course, but certainly in creative industries or things that require collaboration, being there face-to-face arguably is better for that particular, for certain jobs. But saying that, Phones for You creator John Caldwell, basically he slammed a growing sense of entitlement on the part of workers who he said believe that jobs exist for their own convenience. As opposed to making him money. So i.e. those workers wanting their own, it's like, mate, people have jobs because we want to make money to survive. Like, we're not there to make money for you. It was...
Remote working basically is sticking it to the man in the biggest way possible. And that's the reality. That's why, that's why people are, like, from the top of sort of, like, pushing back on it.
Well, I guess we won't see you here again. Coming up next, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has come up with a novel way to deal with coronavirus. And are you a user of the power pose? If not, perhaps you should be. We will investigate further.
Every morning from 6 o'clock, we'll wake you up with GB News Breakfast with all the stories you didn't know from the night before.
So whether it's serious news, entertainment, or your own views from all over our great nation, we're here to kick off your day with a smile.
The national media should be reflecting and reporting what's happening here.
You will notice the northwestern accents.
Whether you're with us on TV, radio, or online, every morning, it's breakfast from 6 a.m. Hope you can join us.
On radio, they call it the drive time slot, 4 p.m. until 6 p.m. as listeners head home. It's that part of the schedule when the dust of the day's events begin to clarify, and we try to make sense of it for you. Brazier is drive time for radio and TV. It's fast, it's punchy, it's opinionated, there's a Brazier angle and a little bit of levity.
That's the question. That's 2 questions, actually.
That's Brazier, Monday to Thursday, 4 till 6 on GB News.
Hello, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and you can join me every weekday 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr. Me and my panel will get stuck right into the day's events, and I can tell you, in fact, I can warn you, expect some robust debate, some strong opinions and perspectives from both sides of the fence. It's about you at home as well. I love to read out all of your comments, or at least as many as I can. So join me, Michelle Dewberry, Monday to Friday, 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr.
I'm Dan Wootton. Join me Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 for the feistiest and most fun news debate on TV, where free speech reigns. I'll bring you a sharp take on the day's biggest stories, bombshell newsmaker interviews, and A-list guests. And I guarantee you, no spin, no bias, no censorship, and no reason to go to bed. That's Dan Wootton tonight, Monday to Thursdays from 9 on GB News.
Welcome back to Headliners. I'm Stephen Allen here with late-night hilarity dispensers, my guests Sajila Kershi and Josh Howie. Let's look at Tuesday's Times. Josh, are we meant to be taking some advice, health advice, from Kim Jong-un?
Yeah, so I didn't know this, but just gargle some water, salt water, get rid of your COVID.
Oh.
Yeah, he heard it, he got it from Trump. Trump said, "Let's do, Kim, come on, mate, just do a bit of gargling." So North Korea, has supposedly avoided up until now COVID, being a closed society, but there was an unknown fever has been spreading since April. It's a shame because I've got a whole load of lateral flow tests that I could have chucked over. They could have sorted this out a long time before, but they're saying there's more than 1.2 million people out of a population of 26 million people supposedly are infected. And now Kim Jong-un is wearing a face mask, which is also helping him with the body doubles and all of that. It just makes it a lot easier. Just get a face mask, and then they just need to find someone overweight. Actually, that's quite tough in North Korea. The only person.
They're all him.
They're all pretty svelte. He's all. So, but yeah, basically COVID has come to North Korea. And they're not prepared for it. Surprise, surprise. They have been offered help from China, from South Korea. The question is, will they take that help? Because it certainly, from South Korea, would be seen as a massive weakness for them to do so.
So, this gargling with salt water, do they have to do happy birthday while they're doing that? Because I used to be able to hum. When I used to gargle, I used to be able to do little tunes. Do you have to do happy birthday? Is that how you gargle? Is that how you gargle?
That's what Fauci said in America. You have to
gargle for happy birthday.
Yes, that's the side. The WHO has absolutely said that. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, and this is quite a reach to try and find something that's a counterpoint. Gargling salt water, it is good for tonsillitis. Now, that's the end of me trying to find any positivity in this story. It's good for other things.
Yes.
Horrible to do, though, isn't it? Have you ever done it?
Yeah, I love it.
What?
I don't love it, but I liked it.
Well,
I didn't dislike it. It was all right.
Well,
it's once or twice.
Move to North Korea.
He's still talking about the same thing. Sajila, the Daily Mail, is telling us to strike a pose.
OK, the power pose really does work. So dominant posture used by Theresa May, Elon Musk and Beyonce makes you behave more confidently, study confirms. And just the other day, at the weekend, I was working with some newer comedians and advising them similar, that it's important, because they were just shuffling around like they did on the stage. And I said, look, have a power stance. And Theresa May, if you recall, I don't know if do we have photos of this? I was promised, but maybe we don't. We don't have any photos.
No, I'm not listening to it. There we go.
Yeah, there you go. That is the power stance, and it's actually the Wonder Woman, but she's not doing it with the hands on the hips. But it's also a bit awkward because her legs, she's not quite confident enough with her legs there, so she's not quite got it. But
she looks like she's about to serve at table tennis.
I think she looks like she's about to wee. Yes, she's got the wee. I've seen that a few times in Newcastle on a Saturday night.
Yeah. Wee standing up.
Great.
But so that's kind of not quite there. So now I'd like to show you someone who has mastered the art of the power Wonder Woman pose with a mic in their hand. If we have the exhibit B, there we go. That's me.
Okay. And out of the two people we've just seen, which one managed to become Prime Minister?
Well, she might be Prime Minister, but I'm in Marrakesh there at the Global Compact signing, so I was with very important people. Yeah, which Britain didn't want to sign. But anyway, that's another story. So there are different types of poses, and just for you at home, I don't know, maybe you could come along, play along with this, guys. Right, so there is, because you look very clean, there's one called the Mr. Clean, which is, if you could model it for us, Steve, it's tightly crossing your arms over your chest, rolling your shoulders back, and it's the perfect pose for speaking confidently in a meeting. Well, there you go. I totally believe you now.
No, don't do the pose and see if he can guess what it is. All right, this is. I'm going to do the Obama.
Okay, those looking to...
Don't guess what it is. You can't, he's going to guess it.
Okay, you're going to guess. Okay,
but you don't know what it is. What does it mean when I do this?
Okay,
is it the Obama?
That's it. Go on. You can use me. Go on.
What does this mean? You've got a very tight hamstring.
No, Obama's incredibly loose, as we all know.
There's those looking to pitch an idea at the workplace.
Pitching an idea.
Yeah.
Is it?
They should put their feet up on the table and cross their hands behind their head. That is the Obama.
Okay.
And the performer?
That's landing a plane.
Wide, legs wide.
Confidence levels.
Deodorant
levels.
You've got to put your hands above your... And then do that kind of rock and roll thing. Yes, people, I'm here. And that's like basically you head into an interview like that to boost your...
You never get through the door.
Which does make you look like, hey,
let's break some plates, everybody.
Give me the job, yeah.
All right, there we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank
you. You've learned all these poses now.
You all enjoyed this. This is a fun new game.
Yeah.
More poses? No?
Well, nothing better than that one.
So, Sheila, let's move on now to...
OK, from posing to marriage therapist who reveals the one complaint about men she hears from most wives. They've spoken to your wife, Josh Howley. They've spoken to your wife, Stephen Ellen. And it has nothing to do with your cheating or romancing of other ladies. It has to do with the fact that you don't clean up, boys.
That's good.
No, that is not what she's saying at all.
But you do it... But, OK, so it's active responsibility. You'd be looking around the house for things to do. So basically you actively, which is what my brother-in-law is very good at, he just, whatever he sees needs doing, he does it. They work as a team. And then the passive responsibility, I have been irritated by this in the past, by relationships, is where you say, could you please put the rubbish out once? And then you come back and it's not happening. Could you please put... Yeah, in a minute,
That's not what it says either. I think that...
Yes, but I'm having my bit in this as well.
Well, it's a shame you're not hosting it then, isn't it? In the show, in the story, they say the passive one is you're told to do it and you do it, but the people are annoyed that you've even had to be told once.
Basically...
It's not that you don't do it. You do it, but you were told.
But you were told. And even the fact that you're told, why can't you just do it yourselves? I have some chip on my shoulder about this from the past, obviously. I'm taking some... Obviously, bringing my own stuff into this, but I'm just saying, why don't you? Are you one of those, or do you need to be told, or do you?
No, I don't need to be told if it's in my eyesight. I'm very good at...
I was reading this one and it dawned on me, you know all these active ones, the definition of an active task. So a person will see, oh, that needs doing, do it. How will you ever really notice? My point will be that you're far more likely to count the number of passive ones where you've had to tell someone to do something than notice the active ones. Because there might be active tasks that the other half doesn't even want doing. I might think, oh, that table needs to be cleaner than it is. I clean it. I go about my day. That's not going to be caught.
Do you get,
No.
Do you get noticed?
You're absolutely right there. It's about... And there's studies have shown that men do far more housework than women acknowledge. Like, when they actually broke down and put cameras in the house and whatever... that it was like women seriously underestimated how much housework men do. And the other difference I'd like to say, and maybe this is, I don't know if this is between men and women, this could just be that one partner to another partner, but I find that one partner is like a proper cleaner and one person is just a tidier. My wife is good, like she'll put the pillows, do the whatever, but in terms of like, I'm going to clean that bath, I'm going to clean that toaster, I'm going to get on my, like she might clean the kitchen floor, like sort of sweep it away, but I'm like the person who gets down on my knees and gets the rag and really gets down for an hour sweaty. That's a big difference.
There is one that's actually the more clinical cleaning, and the other one who's a tidier.
It's availability bias. I think this story is availability bias, the idea that you only count the ones that you notice and they go, he never does anything, based on the not measuring if anyone does anything. Let's move on to the next one before more rows break out. The Times next, Josh. A giraffe that could do the best moonwalk ever.
Yeah, this is in the Times. Obviously, slow news day. It's San Diego Zoo in California, and there was a sort of like a Forrest Gump of giraffes, born with a sort of buckly knees facing the wrong way. I didn't even know that was possible. And like in Forrest Gump, they tried putting all these kind of braces on it. In the end, they actually had to go to a specialist who fitted them out, even paid them stripes to make them look like and it's worked out. And the giraffe is now walking, and it's the same place that they also gave a prosthetic tail. I was going to say prosthetic tail to a dolphin. So a dolphin and that was a film was made called Dolphin Tail.
No.
Yeah.
Don't ruin the ending for me.
Yeah, sorry.
Where's the dolphin? Has a tail?
But
dolphins have tails, yeah.
Tails?
They swim.
The person who did this is, anyway, it's called Ara Mizrain. Anyway, but this is kind of disgusting, and but close your ears, kids. She said, this is the first time in my 30-year career that I've actually done it for any type of wildlife. And that was just sick.
Should we move on to the next
I was going to say,
story?
nice bit that, she was, after being rejected by the mother, she was adopted by, when she got braces off, she was adopted by another adult female. So I thought it was quite nice that happened in the animal.
We don't say adult female anymore, we say...
started him off. So, Gila, the Mirror tells us about the oldest human-shaped statues, and looking at them, I guess things are a lot smoother about them.
OK, so bizarre giant statues could have been guardians over ancient graveyard. So, slow stories. Mysterious giant statues thought to be over 3,000 years old, like I care, have been discovered at a necropolis in Sardinia and are capable of attracting the attention of the whole world. Did you hear that? The whole world have been attracted by this. What I want to know is, it's great. They've got the whole thing of the bizarre Bronze Age statues are thought to be over 3,000 years old, blah, 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 and they're dated between the 18th and 8th century BC. I want to know, so we're discovering all this stuff, all these, these artefacts that kind of come out. Aren't we, this is obviously going back way, 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 way. When are we going to start digging up things like from the 70s, I don't know, like platform heels and...
Have you never had a dig in your garden? You can find all that stuff just in your back garden.
Do you already? We're already digging up these things.
Well, attached to bodies.
Depends what area you live in, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, you get
platform heels attached to bodies. Yeah. But yeah, it's fantastic that we are still finding these artifacts, and I wonder if it's to do with the Earth moving a little bit more. Because why haven't they been?
I think because they haven't dug in that place.
We're just going to keep digging. But it's such a really boring thing to do. But why would you want to just keep digging every day? That's
oh my gosh! All the people who watch Time Team and GB News are going to get very angry with you. They love it. They love a bit of digging.
OK, look, if you're diggers out there, I'm just going to keep digging.
You're going to get some abuse on Twitter.
Do your worst, people.
We're into our last minute, so I want to move on to this story, because this is important information. Yes. Josh, the Daily Star warns us of a new trick that thieves are doing, or it's educating thieves in a new trick that they could try. Yes,
it's exactly that. But basically, people with smart doorbells, I don't know if you guys have got smart doorbells, can't afford it, but basically, they don't actually put off burglars. Burglars will go, ooh, they're doing all right with their smart doorbell. I better go around, and then they go around the back, or they use GPS, or they take the batteries out, or whatever. So basically, go back to not having a smart doorbell.
Yeah.
It's much safer.
I love the fact that you spend all that money for a better doorbell, and all it's likely to do is just give you footage of someone robbing your house.
Yeah.
Not that you'll ever catch them, but at least you get to watch it happen.
Yeah.
Oh, bless, isn't it? So, yeah, we're better off not getting that job where we earn more. Contrary to earlier advice, I'm going to stick to not doing better and have my old-fashioned doorbell. Well, that's all we've got time for. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you to my guests, Josh Howie and Sajila Kershi. We'll see you tomorrow at 11.
I'm Dan Wootton. Join me Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 for the feistiest and most fun news debate on TV, where free speech reigns. I'll bring you a sharp take on the day's biggest stories, bombshell newsmaker interviews, and A-list guests. And I guarantee you, no spin, no bias, no censorship, and no reason to go to bed. That's Dan Wootton Tonight, Monday to Thursdays from 9 on GB News.
My name's Tom Harwood, and every weekday we bring you The Briefing live from 9:30 a.m. The stories, analysis and live debate that you need to hear.
quite right, Tom, of course.
Was this something that had been considered at all?
Difficult to answer.
Gas-guzzling helicopters circling. Noise is being made here. Joe Biden walking out. Thank you very much for joining us. Don't miss it. The Briefing with me, Tom Harwood, Monday to Friday, 9:30 a.m. on GB News.
Every morning from 6 o'clock, we'll wake you up with GB News Breakfast with all the stories you didn't know from the night before.
So whether it's serious news, entertainment, or your own views from all over our great nation, we're here to kick off your day with a smile.
The national media should be reflecting and reporting what's happening here.
You will notice the northwestern accents.
Whether you're with us on TV, radio, or online, every morning, it's breakfast from 6 a.m. Hope you can join us.
On radio, they call it the drive time slot, 4 p.m. until 6 p.m. as listeners head home. It's that part of the schedule when the dust of the day's events begin to clarify, and we try to make sense of it for you. Brazier is drive time for radio and TV. It's fast, it's punchy, it's opinionated, there's a brazier angle, and a little bit of levity.
That's the question. That's two questions, actually.
That's Brazier, Monday to Thursday, 4 till 6 on GB News.
Hello, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and you can join me every weekday 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr. Me and my panel will get stuck right into the day's events, and I can tell you, in fact, I can warn you, expect some robust debates, some strong opinions and perspectives from both sides of the fence. It's about you at home as well. I love to read out all of your comments, or at least as many as I can. So join me, Michelle Dewberry, Monday to Friday, 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr.
I'm Dan Wootton. Join me Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 for the feistiest and most fun news debate on TV, where free speech reigns. I'll bring you a sharp take on the day's biggest stories, bombshell newsmaker interviews, and A-list guests. And I guarantee you, no spin, no bias, no censorship, and no reason to go to bed. That's Dan Wootton tonight, Monday to Thursdays from 9 on GB News.
Tonight,